going. Okay, so it slowed down. Maybe for the light, there was a guy in the turning lane there. That could have been why. So we're going to move over to the right, and we're going to set our speed back to 64. The speed dropped down when it changed over to back to the old stack of autopilot, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all, especially on a highway. I don't feel the speed should change down, only if you're telling it to or hitting brakes or disengaging and stuff. I set it for 64 on this road. It's about what I feel comfortable with. You could set it a little higher. There are 2 turns. Oh, and that did not want to make the lane change. Now, you probably say, why the heck did it do that? Well, if you're looking here, this car is going slow. My speed set for 64. That guy's doing 75. The car saw him coming and said, oh, I'm not going to make this lane change because I'm going to piss everybody off, so I'm going to stay here, which is pretty amazing. And it does that once in a while, and you're like, what the hell? And then you realize, oh, there's a guy coming up like crazy behind me. So it is using the rear camera to make some determinations and some calculations. The rear camera, when it rains and snows, is kind of hard to see out of. I don't know what that would do for the rear camera wise, but it is seeing something back there and making determination. It also could be from the left repeater that it's seeing that, because that is angled that way as well. So it might not all be rear camera facing, but it is making a calculation, because it is saying that guy's coming way fast. You don't want to be in this lane right now. Again, blue wheel. I'm not, autopilot. I'm very comfortable with autopilot. You can see I'll go right through these turns. I keep my hands on the wheel because you should. But in reality, it's doing its own thing, and sometimes I just kind of hard to see. But hold on. Ooh. Turn on dome lights. So I like to, if you see my hand here on the left, I don't know if you can, but I will mimic it on the right. I just rest my hand here, and I will scroll my wheel with, I usually do. If you can see this hand, I don't know. But I'll scroll this wheel with the right hand, and I'll just set my speed. Like this corner here, hold on, turn off dome lights. So this corner here, coming through here, oh, that's picking all that up. Is a little notorious. It's a little tight, so I like to slow it down to 60. You could send it through here. If you're in the right lane, it kind of swings a little wide and scares the people next to you. Well, there you go. There was some phantom braking for no reason. Don't know why. Phantom braking, not sure if there is a reason. Maybe there is. Bug report. So that's how I do all my reporting to Tesla. I don't know if they see those, but I do them. Hopefully they do. I would think they do. I'm sure there's not. Like, if you're riding this beta, I'm sure nothing in your car is not going undocumented half the time. Especially, as you probably couldn't tell, but there's a camera right above that rear view mirror watching me, making sure I'm doing the right thing too and not sleeping and over in the passenger seat and whatnot. So that is happening as well. Now you can see it wanted to make a lane change. I have it set to get out of the fast lane, but that would have been a bad idea because I'd be stuck behind these slow people. So I canceled it by hitting the left stalk, by hitting the blinker stalk to the left, down. So I can initiate or cancel a lane change from my driver's stalk at any time. And if you had a Model S Plaid or a new Model X, you could do that with your buttons on your wheel. But you can, essentially, you're in control of the car with these couple controls right here alone. I could tell this car to do what I want it to do. At this point, at any point, I can tell it to move to the right. I can tell it to move left. Now, as you'll see, if I wanted to go to the right, this car here, watch. I'm going to put on the blinker when I get up to this car. Okay, we're going to put our hand on the nose. So I'm going to put on blinker. See how it turns red? It knows there's a car there. Now it'll wait till the gap. Now it sees the gap. Car's not red, and it goes. So it's using the cameras to determine that spacing, and it's pretty good. It's really. I have not had a problem in a long time. It's been many years since I've had a problem, if any, with cars merging or coming into a lane and things like that. It's been actually very, very good. And like I said, autopilot on the highway, it just did that braking thing Sometimes it will do that when a car comes into your lane a little bit and it thinks there might be, you know, a problem. So maybe they came over into the lane and I didn't notice it. I'll have to watch the video back. But usually I don't have any problems with autopilot. Now, we're past all the crazy turns, so I get in my left lane because that's where I want to be, and I up this to 70. Now we are past all the turns that I worry about. So now 70, you could be doing 80 or 90 in here. Well, I think max is 90 on autopilot. But yeah, this is pretty good. No problems. I set it for 70 and cruise along. Like I said, 10.6.1's been pretty good. There's some hairy stuff back there, and you know, I know we're beta testers, and I hope they're taking our cars' telemetry into account when we're not driving, because that would be really useful. I mean, when it's not driving, because I would think by mimicking what we're doing, maybe they'll see it what the car should be doing, and running that through the beta test as well. I'm not sure if any of that's happening through the machine learning AI clips it's feeding it. But when you get the updates, it says that it's feeding 10,000 clips. I think it said the last one, or 12,000 clips to the machine learning computer, and it uses those clips to train as to what it sees, distinguishing what it is, knowing where that path line should go. So this car is actually thinking while we're driving, which is pretty wild. And there are times you can tell that it has like conscious thoughts. Like back there when it hit the brakes, as a driver, that's a butt pucker moment, you know. That's when your sphincter is puckering up, and you know, and you know, and I think the car is having those moments, but it's just because it's kind of like, say, a young driver, you know, like if you were in driving school, you know, you would expect a driving school person to kind of brake, thinking the car might be coming closer to them or coming close to them. So you could see that kind of happening in front of you, which is pretty wild. When your car thinks, you can see it like calculating a merge, you know, things like that. Like, wow, it's thinking. And then especially when you're making lefts and rights, I mean, it's definitely making thought process there. And it's doing that all on the fly. This isn't like a pre-mapped route from Tesla. This isn't some kind of area that I'm locked into. This is my commute, and it'll do this everywhere. You know, it'll go anywhere I want it to, and it'll do the driving. So this isn't like maps and all that stuff, like pre-mapped and that. It's making decisions on the fly based on the things it sees around it, and its statistical outcomes. It's a lot of math and spreadsheets are going on in the background that, you know, you don't see, but it's crazy. You know, it's taking the cameras and saying that car's 4 feet in front of us. As a matter of fact, I have it set to follow distance of 3 seconds. So it's telling me it's 70 miles or 65 miles an hour, current speed is set autopilot. Think of that, like if you set your cruise control. And it's telling me that this is 3 seconds from here to there. So if you count, so let's see, we got a sign here. Let's see. One, it was a little early, hold on. We'll go for this next sign, the exit sign. I hate to do it in this lane, but yeah, so 1, 2, 3. We're 3 seconds. That is 3 seconds. And you can see it got closer because we slowed down. Now it's going to back off a little. It is a little slow to get back on the gas when people take off. So some people behind you might get a little upset. I use the accelerator if I have to. This one wasn't so bad. No one's on my butt. I'm in the middle lane. It's kind of casual right now. On the 684, this is 684 heading north. What I like to call, this is the Friday night 500, because this sucker on 684 turns into mayhem most days. Tonight it's being kind of casual. Everyone's being calm. But some nights it's in and out of lanes and switching and going crazy and doing all that stuff. But I am kind of doing that. And you can see I am working the pedal. the car is not making these decisions to switch lanes. I am doing these, the last two. I am hitting the stalk to go around a guy who is going slow and braking for no reason when the cars are 800 feet in front of him. There's a video out there that I watched the other day that is literally talking about traffic, and they call it the traffic snake. And it's saying that if you're on the bumper, say I was on the bumper of that van, and that van slammed on his brakes, then I slam on my brakes, and that slamming of the brakes at that moment goes on and on and on to the cars behind you. And that, they say, this guy said in the video, that could last for hours after you're gone because you slammed the brakes. So if you can set a 3-second distance and always maintain it, and the cars aren't having to hit the brakes because you're on autopilot and the cars are making the decisions. So if you had a line of Teslas, that would never happen until the car in front of you interfered with it. That was a regular car driving by itself. So think about that for a minute, because the traffic woes of the future could be solved that way, you know. Also, so now I made that decision to get in this lane to get past that truck because they were kind of going slow. This car should try to get over to the right momentarily. It is not. Usually it jumps out of the fast lane. Now the guy behind me is going a little nuts, so I'm going to do it. Usually it moves out of the fast lane but I'm not catching up to that guy fast enough to cause it not to do that. So that's kind of its mistake, I would say. But yeah, it is pretty cool to read some of these things. And then there was another traffic scenario brought up on the Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast. He was very smart when they were talking about full self-driving or automated driving, and he was saying how it could make traffic in cities worse because as a pedestrian you would never be afraid to step in front of this car because you know it's not going to hit you and it's not going to go. So pedestrians should just willy-nilly stop all the vehicles in the road. And that's a thought. That's true. It's a thought, and it is true. Like if you had automated vehicles and they were going down a city street, and even if the light told the pedestrians to stop, if they didn't want to, you could end up snarling up traffic a lot. So that's another something to think about. You know, I mean, there's ways to do it. You can flop a barrier up, whatever. You know, but I don't know. It's an interesting scenario when you think about it. Me personally, I know I feel that we're only, I think, a year away from this car driving itself completely to where I don't have to do anything. I'm sure I'll still be sitting here telling it to do things because they're not going to let it out on its own yet, I don't think. But statistically, and you know, it'll be better for you to have a car with full self-drive. And it is right now. I mean, you can see the level of driving I'm doing is not anywhere near your normal commute and acting, you know, and having to, I'm paying attention, but I'm not stressed. I'm not white knuckling it because the car does good on its own and I don't have to anymore. And that is a very good selling point for autopilot, which comes basic on every Tesla, and FSD, which comes basic on every Tesla. You know, if you're one of those white knucklers, this will help. You get used to it. It takes a little while to get used to. I've been driving this car. Whoa! You saw that? Did you see that? That guy almost rammed right into the side of this guy. Caught it in time, luckily. Oh, look! Now there's going to be a fight. Look, now they're now they're messing with each other. Guy had to run up on his ass. Guy's trying to get over to the service center, to the the rest area. Come on, be nice, people. Be nice. I'm gonna move over here. Probably don't have to. There's just a guy coming up on me hard, and you know what? It leaves 3 seconds, but people that want to go fast get so upset about that. The car is leaving room. They really do. It's sad that would piss somebody off, but it pisses people off to no end that you leave a little room in between the car in front of you. You should be wanting to leave room. Well, look at this guy. His muffler's grinding on the floor. This guy's got his hazards on. Muffler's grinding on the floor. Should pull over. Somebody should fix that. Right, that's another thing, you know, I said it to somebody else the other day. When you think of car repairs, I have always had to mess with those mufflers. I've had to chicken wire them up. I've beer canned them, if anybody knows the beer can trick. Done that a few times. I've always messed with mufflers and exhaust pipes and rigged them to get, you know, to get the car going, and that's not good for the environment at all, running straight headers. But that's a cost you'll never have in this car. It's a cost you'll never have. You'll never have to worry about your exhaust hitting the floor. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. I've spent a lot of money on exhaust. And those catalytic converters are a whole nother story. They're getting stolen a lot lately, and they're like $1,000. So that thing goes, and you got a whole nother problem. That's when your check engine light comes on, you know, and you can't pass inspection. That's not going to happen with this car. This is not going to happen, which is amazing. It's wonderful. As you know, and as far as costs go, I mean, I can't stress enough how much this car is saving me. And people say, "Oh, you don't buy a Tesla for savings." Well, bullshit. Or I should say, because I got this car when there was the $7,500 tax rate. So I got $7,500 tax credit. I got $2,000 from the state of Connecticut for buying a electric car. So I got $9,775 back from the government, or from the state and the government, as an incentive to buy an electric car. The base price for this car when I bought it was $42,000. All right, I got $9,000. I got almost $10,000 off. So I paid $32,000 for this car. Now, first of all, I went shopping, and those Honda Civics, the Honda Accords, I was looking at a Honda Accord, but I wanted the high trim package because I wanted the extra features. And it wasn't anything like this tech-wise. And they wanted $35,000 for that car. So I would have been buying a Honda plus paying $3 a gallon over 40 miles per gallon in an Accord, maybe a 32, I think it was. But I left a 20 mile per gallon car. I left a 20 mile per gallon car, and leaving a 20 mile. Now you see, I'm rolling the wheel down because traffic stopped. It will handle that itself perfectly fine. I roll the wheel. So all I'm saying is, I paid $32,000. I don't pay for